Hello, I'm Kate Jones and I'm a development lead at ArkCurriculum Plus. Here at ACP, we have a wealth of expertise in supporting students and teachers with teaching mathematics, and we wanted to share with you a few of our top tips on what you can be doing to support your child on their journey to mastery at home. Now, some of you might be thinking that maths may not be your strong point, and for many of us, we're quick to say things like, I can't do maths, when actually you can do maths and you manage the maths that you need in everyday life all the time. Now, we don't want this negative perception of maths to rub off on our children and for them to start thinking it's okay to be rubbish at maths or that maths is important. We want them to enjoy mathematics. So our top tip number one is to try to keep a positive mindset when it comes to maths. Now, the approach to teaching maths has changed a lot since you might have been in school. Now there's a lot more emphasis on using different methods and taking time to explore maths rather than just recalling a fact or a procedure. We can recognise that there's more than one way to work something out. And when we're thinking about working something out and we make a mistake, that's okay, and that's an opportunity to learn something new. We want to praise children for the effort, for taking time to explain, show their workings out or a different way of working something out, rather than just rush to a fact or a procedure. That high-stake maths of just testing different facts is where a lot of maths anxiety comes from. We want to avoid that. And lastly, try not to say things like, I can't do maths or I'm useless at maths. We want them to believe that they can succeed and enjoy maths. So, some useful phrases if children aren't feeling so positive. If they were to say, I can't do this, try saying, you can't do this yet. If they were to say, I didn't do so well on this, try saying, you can become even better at this. See it as an opportunity. And if they make a mistake, see that as a learning opportunity. Ask them what they learned from any mistakes that they made today. Top tip number 2, build maths into your everyday routine. Now, maths is everywhere, and although children learn about new concepts in school, it's at home where they can apply that learning into context, where they can actually embed that learning. You don't need to give your children a page of calculations to support them in maths. You need to help them to apply it. When can you do that? Well, why not out in the shops when you're comparing different prices, looking for the best value, perhaps making a prediction about how much it might cost, using the self-scanner to add up things as you go. What about bringing that into the kitchen, looking at labels upon foods, identifying their maths, estimating perhaps, working out the time it takes to cook a meal. If I start cooking this now, what time will it be ready? Speaking of time, that's something that we can really embed at home. We might only teach time once in school per year, so we need that constant application in order for them to have a deep understanding. Look at timetables, perhaps a bus timetable or a television timetable, or think about your daily routine. If I go to bed at this time, what time should I wake up? How long was I asleep for? How long do I need to spend on my chores in order to have playtime? Speaking of playtime, playing games with your children is another way to get that mathematical reasoning. I don't just mean mathematical games where we're adding up numbers, but strategy games that get them to talk and reason aloud. And when you're out and about on a car journey or on a walk, think about the maths you can see. The question, what do you see, is such a powerful but simple question. I can see 3 tomatoes. I can see X amounts of fruit. I can see this many pine cones or this many groups of pine cones. I can see this many people with umbrellas, this many people without umbrellas. In a larger queue, think about perhaps predicting how many people are there or estimating how many people are there altogether. Looking at the cutlery there, which is longer, which is shorter, what's the average length perhaps. Let's get out a ruler and measure them. All sorts of things you can be doing in your home environment. Okay, top tip number 3. Talk about the maths. When a mathematical problem comes up in your daily life, or you're helping your child with their homework, don't just give them the strategy or give them the answer. Expect them to think about it, to explain. That will really help them to develop that understanding. And your role doesn't have to be someone who is the expert and knows the answers, but can be a coach using questioning to support them. So don't just focus on rushing to an answer. Encourage them to explain their reasoning, explore different ways of working something out, perhaps draw it, show it in a different way using objects or using a quick diagram. And that can really be a challenge for some children as well. Or perhaps use questions that get them to think mathematically. Here are some ideas of some questions that you might want to use. We hope that this video has been a useful starting point for you in supporting your child at home. Just remember our top 3 tips: keep a positive mindset, build maths into everyday routines, and talk about maths. And together we can all learn and enjoy maths.